Hello, everybody, and it's Ashley here. It's Stacks in the City. We're in the game. We're in week of quarantine, and I'm really excited, you guys, to let you guys know my next CEO spotlight. It is Miss Beca Soto of the Financial Gym. Now, before we delve too deep into the interview and some notes, first, guys, I want to let you all know, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe and comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Rate the show. Let me know what y'all are thinking. You guys, it's a lonely world behind the mic sometimes. I definitely want to interact with you guys. Let me know what's up. Also, you all, I do have my ebook out. It is on investing, making your first trade in the stock market with screenshots, guys. So make sure that you download that, support your girl. Anyway, okay, I think that's all I have from my end, you all. There's been a lot going on, but, such is life. C'est la vie. Today, I do have a wonderful CEO spotlight. It is Miss Beca Soto of the Financial Gym, like I said. And guys, in case you don't know, the Financial Gym was started in 2015 by Shannon McLay. She was a former employee at Merrill Lynch. Long story short, she really wanted to create a space that helped people, regular people like us, get financial control over their money. Now, you all, the Financial Gym is steadily growing, and it's very similar to a real gym. You go to the gym, you work out, you get healthier, you get better, and you pay a monthly membership fee in order to be a part of that gym. And it's the same with this. She approaches it the same way. Instead of having athletic trainers, you have money trainers. You pay that monthly subscription fee, very similar to being in a gym. And the goals are very similar to athletics. Instead of you wanting to get healthy, get summer right, you want to, in this case, you want to set goals for your money. You want to learn how to budget and save better, how to travel, save for weddings, pay your debt down, investing. All of those things are what they offer for people who are interested in getting their financial lives athletically fit. So it's a great concept. Again, I had such a great time with Becca. I interviewed her really right before COVID started popping off. So this is an interview before everything happened. So I did reach back out to the Financial Gym just to get some more information about what they're doing and how they're handling business during the pandemic. And they're still up, y'all. They're up and running. They may not have their physical location open in Washington, D.C., but they are still offering virtual sessions. They're still doing their wine sessions on Wine Wednesdays, virtually. So I will have all that information, you all. And I will have the information to Miss Beca Soto, who is the level 2 financial trainer. You all, I had such an amazing time interviewing her, you all. It is always a pleasure interviewing people who are just as passionate about getting wealthy as I am. And you all, it's funny, I know I talk a lot about investing, and my passion really is gaining wealth through some vehicle of wealth building. But if you're unable to manage your finances or have some type of control about where your money is going or any debt that you owe, it will be virtually impossible to continue to build wealth, because every time you start earning money on the stock market or real estate, you don't know where it's going, or it might be improperly spent. So it is such an honor and a privilege to have Becca come on the show and speak about ways to better control and manage our everyday finances. And she's a professional, you all. Her job is to help us do that. And her approach is not necessarily about dollars and cents. It is very emotional. She's so passionate. She talks about how she had a low point in her financial career and how that really inspired her to help others. So you all, she is based in DC. She is, again, truly phenomenal. It was such a pleasure. And you all, if y'all don't know where to start with your money, definitely go to her. I'll have all of her information in the show notes, you all. Again, this is not something to be ashamed of or be scared about. It is 2020, you all. And just because the pandemic is out here doesn't necessarily mean that we can't get some control over our finances, you all. She's definitely the person to go to. And y'all, she's cheap. Much cheaper than I thought. It's as low as $50 per month, y'all. 50. Do y'all know what $50 can get y'all? Financial wealth. Who knew? Anyway, y'all, I don't want to give too much away, but definitely have a pencil, pad, paper, notes, whatever you need prepared. And without further ado, here is Miss Beca Soto of the Financial Gym. Hello, 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 everybody. I'm so excited. We have another CEO Spotlight, which are always my favorite, you guys. So I love meeting people who are obsessed with money as I am. And today we are with Miss Beca Soto of the Financial Gym. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you to be here. So you guys, just so you know, the Financial Gym is a it's like a trainer, like a training
Mhm,
style gym that
mhm,
just opened a location in DC. So they are based in New York City. They just
mhm,
opened in DC. I am super excited. I actually heard I had a friend who told me about this financial gym that I need to
mhm.
check out. I'm like, what's never heard of it, y'all. But
What
I've
is
been all
that?
up on I know like, what's going on. So I've been all over today's show. So Becca Soto is a level 2 financial trainer. I have no idea what that means, y'all. I've been looking it up. I'm so confused. But we're gonna have her explain everything to us as well as what the financial gym is and how it's going to help us get our money right. So, Becca, thank you so much for taking time out to be on the show.
Absolutely, I'm so happy to be here and
Awesome.
and help share the journey.
Share the Becca, share the please share the gospel. Share the gospel. So first,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. Like financial gym, your money management, what's going
Mhm.
on? So first, okay, have you always had a really good relationship with your money?
I thought I did.
Mm.
So I grew up very pretty comfortable, not well off, but comfortable, and I do remember always being the person major in majority situations being the person in my friend group who would uh like pay for the movie tickets or like, oh, I got y'all on the restaurant or whatever. And I do remember having one or two friends that it was definitely like a point of tension whenever I would do that. But I didn't do it for like showing off. It was like, well, I can see that that's an issue for you, so let me take care of
Let
it.
me take it.
As if it was like my money to like it was my parents' money, but you know.
Right, but still, nonetheless, you're like, I got y'all. It's okay.
Right,
But there was some
right.
contention with your friends about that.
Yes. And so it was like always something in the back of my mind that I was trying to be cognizant of and just make sure that I was still holding true to who I felt I was at the time, but without making my friends feel uncomfortable. Which is very interesting because I think that like doesn't go away. Like the more that you
No.
become in charge of your money, and as you become an adult, like that is definitely something that I see clients go through all the time. And like having to put up boundaries, whether it's because you are spending too much on other folks, not even on other folks, but on things that aren't as important to you, like on silly dinners that like, yeah, that's great. I enjoy eating out. I do for certain, but I also
Absolutely.
really enjoy being able to like travel. So it's a very interesting dynamic. But yeah, so that's how I felt about it, like growing up in my childhood. And then in college, um, I would, I mean, I don't honestly don't remember much about how I felt about it. I did go to GW, so I remember how much I like
Oh,
really relied on
you
G
did.
World. Yes, I did.
Oh my God. You guys have a fun G Roll short story I might share later.
Oh, please, I would
I'll
love to hear
share it
that.
later.
So yeah, I remember like that being life. Like if they didn't take G World, that's it.
It
They
was
didn't
over.
exist to me. And in fact, I passed by a Sweet Green the other day that I was just like, oh my God, look at G World. I
The
missed
Sweet Green on
that.
Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yes, yes.
I used to work at Founding Farmers, and we would have
Oh,
GW students coming in all the time asking if we take G World, and they look crestfallen when we were like, we don't.
yes.
What?
There's a shop that I go to on Pennsylvania now that like closer to the White House, that I was actually surprised that they even took G World because it's not that I mean, it's not super far from campus, but it's not that close. I'm like, what students are walking all the way over here
They
for
take G
shops?
World in DuPont.
Do they really?
There's a
They're really
taco spot
expanding.
that they take in DuPont around
Wow.
DuPont Circle. Yes. Don't ask me how I know. I did not go to GW. Just don't ask questions. Just know that I know.
Understood, understood.
Excellent.
But yeah, so like when I was in college, I my dad would not let me open up a credit card for a good couple years, even after graduating from college. Even though now I realize I totally could have, like, without say so, but I didn't until like 2 years after graduating. And when I did, I was on top of that card. Ashley, let me tell you, for like a good 2 years or so, like my credit score was fabulous because I would not ever carry a balance. But then I started traveling more. And I
And
remember.
at what time in your life is this, roughly?
So this was, so 2 years after, I was like, I don't know, like 24, 25 maybe.
Okay. Oh yeah, those are prime time traveling.
Prime time traveling. And like I had always loved travel. I'm very blessed that my parents and I traveled every summer together. So I had the travel bug, but I didn't really get into it until I think I turned 22 and my friends and I did like a little trip to Ocean City, Maryland. And since then I was like, I'm going to go somewhere every year on my birthday. This is going to happen, blah, blah. Didn't actually like save for it. I would just do it. But
just go.
Yeah. So then back in like, I want to say maybe 2014, 2015, when I was about 24, 25, I remember booking a trip with my friend through a Groupon deal. And I remember specifically saying to myself, I can't cover this month, but it's okay. I'll just pay whatever the interest is and I'll do it next month.
So you couldn't cover the trip that month.
Exactly. Yeah. And from that moment, the moment that my perspective shifted, it was downhill. I just kept racking it up. I didn't realize after that moment how much I was not paying attention, but I just kept racking it up. And then in 2017, the end of 2017, my boyfriend and I moved in together, and I had the better cards. I was always like more points savvy. I was like, let's just put it all on my card. I put it all on my Amex and hit to 10K, which was my max. And so it wasn't just the moving, but like that was the end all be all. And I was just like, what? I maxed out my limit. What, at 10K? That's only one card that I own. That's not even all the cards that I own. What the heck? And I had some inner turmoil, Ashley. I really felt like I had always felt like I was responsible with my money, particularly because I was able to keep it off for 2 years without like ever incurring anything. And then all of a sudden, it felt like it was just like overnight, all of a sudden, I've racked up all this debt. And I went from being the person that would cover other people to being the person that needed other people to cover me. Particularly in my relationship, where I was the person who was more financially savvy.
And this is seemingly overnight.
Overnight.
Head, right?
And it was heartbreaking. And I was like, I felt like I lost my identity for a little bit. And it was really, really tough. And my partner, he was wonderful and supportive, but it was difficult because again, it wasn't his strong suit either. So it was a bit of a rough time. And so then I had always followed Penny Hoarder Daily, but I started like following them religiously at that point and like trying to figure out how to get myself out of it. And then they recommended bullet journaling, and then that's still a passion in my life to date.
What is bullet journaling?
Really? Oh my gosh, ooh, girl. Bullet journaling is this craze. So like journaling in general, I feel like has been on the come up a lot lately. But bullet journaling was created by I don't remember what his name is, but it was created by this guy who really wanted to simplify being able to track different parts of his life. And so what's really wonderful about bullet journaling is that generally speaking, you're supposed to use a dotted journal, and you can make the journal whatever you want it to be. So for me, the big thing that I wanted to track was my finances. And so I was scouring the internet for financial spreads. It's what you call it, is like, that's what the page looks like. The tracker looks like is a spread. So I was scouring for that, but you could track your chore wheel. You can track what your events are for the month. You can track your brain dump. So like if you just have like a bunch of things that you are thinking about and you don't want to forget it, but like it doesn't really fit a neat category, well, you just have a page for all of that. So it's great. It's so fluid, and you can change it from month to month, from page to page. It's whatever you want it to be, which is just really wonderful. And it allows you to be creative. So like I'm not a big drawer, although I do like to indulge a bit. And so that is like how I used to also like do paint night, but again, I'm not fabulous at it. So like that is how like I indulge in that aspect of my life, but it's also productive because it's allowing me to set up myself for the month. So I can have a whole podcast about bullet journaling, girl. Anyway.
Yeah. Guys, we're gonna do some more fleshing on that one. Okay, perfect.
So I got into that, and then I was just constantly talking about money at that point with coworkers and friends. And
just at your job and just out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And particularly with my mentor at my self-appointed mentor at work, who now this is by the summer of 2018. I was going through a rough patch with my partner, and I wasn't sure we were going to last. And I was telling her like how I was concerned about it, that even though I was the more fiscally responsible person, I wanted to make sure that whether or not we stayed together, I could handle myself, and I didn't have to then perhaps look for a new partner who could take care of me. I hated that idea. And it's so funny that I would even think that, because I've always been the more financially savvy in all of my relationships. I've never dated someone who like never, because my partner does help, but like he's wonderful.
Trust
but
me, I get it.
I don't want him to hear this and be like, damn, you shouted me out. No, he's not. Anyway.
Shout outs to the partner, y'all. Shout outs to Becca's partner.
But so by summer we had this like big blowout. And so I was telling my mentor about it, and she told me about this fabulous book. Totally recommend it. It's called Prince Charming Isn't Coming: How Women Get Smart About Money. And it was written by Barbara Stanny, who is the daughter of one of the H&R Block founders. And long story short, she was growing up in an age where men usually took care of the money. And even though it was her money, her husband took care of it. And he was like an investment banker of some sort, and essentially lost the majority of her trust. And eventually they ended up divorcing. And when they did, because all of the accounts were under her name, the IRS came after her for taxes, and they came after her twice. The first time she took care of it. The second time she was just like, I don't actually have enough to cover these back taxes. She reached out to her ex, asked them to send a letter to them to be like, can you just tell them that I would sign for things, but I wasn't like making any of the decisions. I didn't have any control.
Your IRS doesn't care.
Nope. He legit went out of his way and was like, she knew everything that was going down. She had control over everything. Make her pay whatever, essentially, is what it was. And I was just like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I hope some of y'all listen to this, y'all. I'm just saying.
You cannot trust anyone.
Wow. That's so jaded.
So, But so this book really opened up my eyes to truly, I mean, you could end up being in the most supportive, loving relationship, but you still got to make sure that you can take care of yourself no matter what. So I was constantly talking about this stuff at work, and to my coworkers. I had a huge, beautiful like knit of fabulous women at work that we talked on a regular basis. And I was like, have y'all heard about this book? Have you heard this? Like, you need to check this out. And then one of them sent me an Instagram ad for the financial gym for their first open house. I didn't know it at the time, but it was their first open house in the New York City headquarters office. Yep. And they were a 10-minute walk from my job. So I went over, and it's funny because I almost didn't go because I was having a really bad day at work and I wanted to go and eat a pint of ice cream at home, but I decided to go, and the rest is history. I mean, I was so inspired by what the gym does, and we'll go into that in a second. But I was so
Yeah,
inspired that I knew that I wanted to help empower other women and minority groups
that's
the way that
amazing.
I was empowered. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So it seems like at one point you were just feeling very overwhelmed, or just you just didn't know where to
Shameful. I
start.
was
Yeah,
shame.
this shame.
Shame.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you had that feeling of shame, why did you even decide to go? Because from what I understand, I mean, money is a very personal, intimate thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be sharing not necessarily the debt that you're in, but some of the money mistakes that you made that
Mm-hmm.
you probably knew better about. Am I
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. So just to bring clarity, so this whole journey happened over the course of like 9 months. So
Okay.
the extreme money shame happened at the beginning of January 2018,
Huh?
and I didn't come to the gym until September 2018. So I had
Got
a lot of
it.
time to to analyze. I'm a huge, like, I'm a Cancer. I'm like a huge self analyzer, and like, yeah, it's what I do. So I had a lot of time to like really delve deep into what led me down that path.
Got it.
Because yes, the world, like, we are in a consumer society, but I engaged in that consumer society. I made those decisions, so I can't like just put it off on someone else. So I had already kind of come to grips with all of that. And also I find, just generally speaking, I try not to um, lie to myself or lie to others, because I can't keep track of what the lie is.
I know, right? There's only one truth in life. You
Right.
got it. Got
So,
it.
so I don't mind sharing any of those things, because like you never know who you can connect with or resonate with. So having to share my information with my financial trainer when I did start as a client at the gym, I remember telling her, I was like, you're not gonna see me cry, because like I've already done that. I did that already, and now I'm just like ready to make some
Get it.
changes.
Got it.
But not everyone has gotten to that point, and we legit have tissues in every conference room. Because
Really?
because it's important. Like, crying, there's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with being feeling shame around your money. So many people think that they're the only ones who feel shame around their money. It is false. That is false. Literally everyone. I have clients who make above six figures who feel shame around their money, and I have clients who are like closer to minimum wage who feel shame around their money. Like, everyone has a
That
different
feeling's the same.
situation. Yeah. But we are all connected in that we feel that shame. Majority of us are never taught what to do with our money. So of course you would feel like you don't know what to do. And it sucks, but we're working on that as a society. But there are ways that you can move forward now. You don't have to just wait now that you're past high school, like it's done. No, everyone can learn. So that's what we're here. That's what we do here at the gym. So as a financial
So what did they
trainer,
do for you first? What did they do
oh
for
yeah,
you when you first went in? What did they do that made you so inspired to become a trainer yourself?
okay. So when I went to the open house, immediately, literally the moment I walked in, I just felt so at ease and comfortable. It's a beautiful space. It's like very colorful and homey, and I think that that definitely helped out with that, with me wanting to be there and feel comfortable and share. Excuse me. And then hearing Shannon's story. So she was there in person, and she
The
was
founder.
so, the
The
founder, yes,
founder.
our founder, Shannon McClay. She was there in person sharing her story, and she was like so easy and down to earth. And it was like, wow, this is like the founder of a company, and yes, it's not a big company, but like she's so easy to talk to. It's just like it just didn't
Yeah.
it didn't make sense.
Yeah, I get it.
But
And
because
honestly,
she was,
it being a woman talking about
yes.
money
Mm-hmm,
too, but we'll get to that
mm-hmm,
later. But yes,
yes.
go ahead. There's
So
so much to talk about.
there's so much, there's so much. So she went through the whole spiel about like what it is that inspired her to open up the company, why she took this approach of like being a gym, um, and then the fact that she said that to become a trainer, you don't have to have a financial background. You just have to be empathetic and want to connect with people, that they could just teach you everything. And I think that was the biggest thing that I was like, whoa, so I don't have to go back into school to have debt to be able to qualify to work here. Like, she'll take me anyway because I know I'm empathetic. So like, I know that I qualify. And I was just like, right. I was just like, wow. And I can truly affect other people. I have been looking for purpose for a while. And I remember having conversations with my partner about like, well, all you do is like come home and you watch TV, and like, I want to see you do something. I was like, that's great. I want to do something too, but I don't have anything. Like, I don't know what it is that I want to do yet. And it was really tough because, like, you know, not everyone has that like spark of something that they're passionate about, or at least not from early on in life. And
many people don't. I think
many people don't.
I think it's a lie that you hear these child prodigies, the person who doesn't want to be a doctor from the beginning. I don't think people necessarily know. Most people just float around. Yeah.
I felt like, as much as I loved my experience at GW, I felt like I graduated there and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And that was tough. And I realized also, like, you really needed to have known when you were leaving high school, because otherwise then you're just like spending 4 years to like figure out what you want to do.
Yes.
So I think one of the reasons why like it just connected with me so much is that I realized how many people this company clearly connected to. And that room was packed. That open house was packed full of people of all shades, of all genders. Just yes. Like, it was just such a community feel.
Was there wine at this one too?
Oh yeah. There's wine everywhere, every day, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We have wine. That is like, so when you go to a gym and they have weights and towels, like, our tools are tissue boxes and wine.
Wine, yes. I hope y'all hear that. Y'all bring your glasses. They probably have it for you.
We got the glasses. And so that is why it stuck out to me so much, is that, one, I loved that they realized, like, so many jobs, you just learn what you need to do on the job. You don't actually need all that background experience. It doesn't hurt, but you don't need all that. And so I love that wasn't a huge factor, because it made it so accessible. But also I loved, like, just the community. It really was everyone, like, there were clients who had been there for 2-3+ years who clearly loved it, who didn't need to be at an open house, but were like, they want to share how they feel about the company. And then there were all these new folks who didn't know what was going on, but like, we were all talking and sitting and like listening. Yeah. And yeah. So that's how they hooked me.
Always get you some way, don't they? Perfect. So yeah. So did you go on like a trainer track, or did you go on as a client track?
So I knew from that day, September 20th, 2018, that I wanted to work there, but I had some stuff to wrap up at my current job at the time. My current job, that I knew I wouldn't be able to apply until early January, which I knew based on what they had said in that open house, that I would miss the next round that was going to be hired in December, which like broke my heart. But I was like, I need to finish this thing. So the moment that I finished what I needed to at my last job, I sent them an email. I was like, literally the subject headline was "meant to be here." And I went through the whole of how I felt that day at the open house. And I went through how much it meant to me to be able to make sure that other women realize that, like, you don't have to rely on someone. If you have that privilege and that blessing, wonderful, but you don't have to do that. And you can still enjoy life and live life. And I know that us minority women in particular, we are at a disadvantage in so many ways. So let's not be at a disadvantage in that way, you know? So anyway, like, I sent my resume, blah, blah, blah. That was January 20th.
Where were you working before?
Sorry, it was a tech company.
Oh, that's so you were still in the tech, got it. So you were in the tech company. Oh, wow, so you changed industries and everything.
Yeah. So I started out professional professionally in hospitality. I was working at the Starwood company at Westin Hotels and then Sheraton Hotels. And then I wanted a corporate life and like 9 to 5, and I don't have to think about work anymore after those hours.
Yeah, definitely get that
and then I'm now at the entire extreme because like I think about work at all times and I'm doing work all the time.
You want to though.
But it's meaningful work and it's
Yeah.
important work. And so, yeah, I don't mind it as much. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So you wrote this email, meant to be, you gave that feeling that you felt at the
Yeah.
open house, and then what?
So then I didn't hear back from them for a while, and I remembered from the open house that they had said the next round, like essentially that they would hire every 3 months. So I was like, that means March, like I haven't heard from y'all, what's happening? And I was like, I just want to make sure that you haven't forgotten about me. Anyway, so they we had the in-person interview, and then they have an apprenticeship program where for trainers or hopeful trainers, you shadow meetings with clients. The first session, which we call the naked session, where you give everything. You give all your numbers and all your goals. And then the second session which is the plan session, where you the trainer goes over the client's roadmap to living their best life. And then the quarterly session, which happens every 3 months after that, where you're just checking back in to see what your progress is. So I had to sit in on 2 meetings of each of those. And I was doing that in the month of April, which is Financial Literacy Month. So they were also having an event every single night with a different topic to just share the knowledge with people. So I was there a lot. I felt like I already worked there by the end of that month because I was there all the time.
All the time.
And then I started beginning of June. Oh, I also got a tattoo, which I think really cinched the deal. So you remember how I know the date of the open house is because it's tattooed on my body.
That's how important it is. That's amazing.
That's how important, because it was really like the final puzzle piece. So I feel like when I got in, that 10K debt started it all. Then getting in that fight with my partner was like the middle. And then finding the gym was like the solution to everything.
That is truly amazing. Like, it's so much deeper than just working as a job. Absolutely. That you're helping with their money. It's so personal for you.
It really is. I can't imagine working anywhere else anymore. I mean, who knows where life will take me, but like right now, I just can't imagine it.
There's so much. So what's it like working with you? So let's say I'm coming in here. I got to tell you all about my life. I don't really want to tell you. What do you do? What would you do for your clients that would help them and make them at ease? What's it like?
That's a great question. So I always like to just establish that it is a judgment-free zone. All of the trainers say that, but it truly is, because we realize, again, there's no way, generally speaking, there's no way for you to have known what you should have been doing. So of course you stumbled along the way. All of us fail in one regard or another in life. And that's okay, because you're here now trying to change that, right? And I really love to share my story, again, because 1, you don't know who it might resonate with, but 2, so that they know that I'm not just a financial professional. I have stumbled along the way too, and I've made it out on the other side. And so usually people find that to be helpful enough to be like, okay, well, now I can share my story, because it's not someone like perfect person on a pedestal. It's someone who has some inkling as to what I'm feeling. And then I'm constantly just trying to normalize things. So when people say, oh God, I have like so much credit card debt or whatever, and I'm just like, I've actually met people who have worse, and like, not to minimize how you're feeling and what you have. I totally get it. It's still overwhelming for you, but it is not uncommon. Exactly. I'm like, there's a reason why this company exists. You are not the only one. And so I just try to like bring that reality, and I think that's helpful.
So it seems like you're like part cheerleader, part therapist.
Girl, yes. I love to dive into the why side of it. Like there are influences of like what you saw your parents doing. There are influences as to what you've created for yourself. I also like to, so I like to bring that up when it's like 2 weeks after their meeting and they're feeling, some clients are feeling dejected, like, oh, you told me to spend this much and I just haven't gotten to it yet. Like I'm finding it really difficult. Well, yeah, it's only been 2 weeks. Like you spent years, your adult life building up all these habits. That's not going to go away in 2 weeks.
So understanding. Oh my gosh.
I try.
Yeah. And I'm sure that puts them at ease as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're usually like, yeah, you're right. It has only been compared to. I'm like, yeah, I know.
10 years.
Right. It's hard work. It's not going to be overnight. Just because you've now had your 2 meetings, it's not done. This is just the beginning.
So you're creating a plan for them and this budget that they have to follow. And the idea is that they go off into the free world, feeling like doing the plan that you've created for them, and you're checking in with them.
Yes. So yes and no. So the plan is like a very good guideline, but we also have to remember that that's like if in a perfect world you were able to do every single thing exactly as is and nothing else happened to throw you off track. So one of the reasons why it's important to have your trainer, your accountability buddy, and your accountability partner is that things will come at you that you weren't expecting. And our job is to take in all that information and figure out how to reroute you back on track to getting your goals again. So it's not like, it's a great guideline and a fair amount of people can stick to what the numbers say in the plan. But a lot of things change. And one of the things that we try to make sure our clients know is that this whole process is fluid, like life changes. And like some of the goals that you set for yourself in your initial meeting might not be important to you in 6 months. And so, okay, fine, then we'll switch it up and add in what's important to you now.
It's truly catered to this person and where they're at in their life. This is really intense. So
and just to be,
please.
No, I just want to be clear that while the New York is our headquarters and we just opened in DC, we help virtual clients. So we have clients in, I think, almost all the states. If not, like definitely at least 48. And I think recently we hit all 50. So you don't have to have a location near you to get this guidance or this help.
Really? So all my listeners outside of DC, Becca got y'all.
In fact, when I first started, before we had trainers on the West Coast, which we now just hired a whole group, I would usually work later in the day because I was helping out the West Coast folks. So yeah, I have a client in Hawaii, in fact, so like all over the place.
Aloha, y'all. Aloha.
Yeah.
That's great. So it seems, like I said, it seems to me that you're like you said, you're the accountability partner, you're the therapist, you're the person who is helping them, and it works. Like, what they're doing. To me, when I think of someone who has been, like you said, going over budget for years and years and years, like you said, it may not happen overnight, but it may not happen in 6 months. And you're seeing results from these people who who are like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we also find that the moment that you're open to changing your lifestyle, we have what we call gym magic, where we see all the time someone comes in and they're not making enough, and they're not making enough money or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden they come back to us and they just got a raise, or they felt comfortable enough to advocate for themselves because now in the plan they found out what they needed to be making to live their best life. And so now they pushed a little bit harder to ask for what they need. And so not everything is going to change overnight, and that doesn't happen to everyone, but it happens to a lot of our clients.
Really?
Yeah. It's beautiful.
You guys, they're out here high intensive intro training for the money.
For real.
For the money. That is,
I love that.
I'm truly astounded. I really, like I say, I've heard a lot about financial gym, and I've been doing a lot of research lately on it. I'm like, I don't understand how this is so helpful, and people really come in. So
saying, and we. No, go ahead.
Please. So and sorry guys, we get excited here on Stacks in the City. Whoops.
Go ahead.
No, please, because I'm going to ask I was going to ask about rates. So you say you have people from all income levels coming in. Then how are you able to help those who may be earning like a more minimum wage versus those who are like deep into six figures?
Yeah. So, so this kind of ties in with the level. What is a level 2 trainer that you
Got
were
it.
questioning? So we have 3 levels: level 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 deals primarily with students and folks who like might have like work study, but they don't. But they're mainly a student, and so that rate is $50 a month. And then you
Really?
have. Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Becca.
So then you also have level 2, which is where most of our clients lie, and that is like people who need help with budgeting. You're like trying to save for a house. You're trying to get your debt in control.
Yeah.
We have a lot of freelance clients, and some of them might fall into level 2. But if your business is really kind of booming and a little bit more intricate, then you would become a level 3. So level 2, the flat rate is $99, but we're always running discounts
Promotions.
and promos. And then level 3 is $250. And I believe that stays at that rate because it's so much more involved for
Of course.
level 3. So level 3 is also like businesses, but also people who are already like their debt is already under control and they want to know more intricate ways to like invest, and like they don't want to just set it at 90% stocks, 10% bonds. They want to like
really know
how to invest. So those would be level 3.
So you have people from all ranges basically, and you help people no matter what their financial goals are.
Yeah. So to also address what you were saying earlier, so it's also up to the discretion of the trainer. So if a trainer feels like someone is really, really trying to change, but they really just cannot pay in the beginning, a trainer is empowered to give them a couple of months free and then start charging them later on when they have things more under control. So just because you might not have anything doesn't mean that you can't be a client. But I would also like to say on the other side of that is that a lot of people think that they don't have anything, but they're spending money on frivolous things that they really could pay what they need to pay. I mean, just like you're investing in your health when you're signing up for a gym, it's the same with us. Like we are going to help turn your money around. And while it might feel like it's tight in the month, I guarantee you our clients overall feel like, oh no, you've given me so much more freedom than I had before. So, and also I want to say the 99 pricing is for singles versus if we have, if you're a couple, then it's 150 as the flat rate without the promotion.
Well, your girl is astounded. And I know I may sound astounded, but half the time, y'all, I'm just like, it's just an astound. I'm shook. A girl is shook here. And I'm so grateful that it's finally coming to DC, guys, because there's a lot of money out here in DC, but people don't know how to spend it. We out here drinking, drugging. I said it, y'all. We out here. Sorry, Becca. This show does a lot.
No worries. No, I love it. Keep
We're
it on.
Out here. Hot mess.
Brunching, happy hour.
Brunching.
That's what I hear is the big thing down here is happy hour.
Brunching and happy, girl. We are out here for no reason.
So like that 99 is like, I remember, okay, quick story. So in my high school, it was very small, and we, in my senior year, we were saving up for a trip to Disney as a class, and we almost got everyone. We were missing like 2 people. And I remember hearing like the 2 people who said that they were going to and then backed out, and that they said it was for money purposes. And I remember at the time thinking, okay, fine. It's not like it's a small amount of money, but also I know you would have easily dropped that on some sneakers or whatever.
All amount, and Becca, like this is just,
and I'm just like, this is a trip that you can. These are memories that you will never be able to recreate or replace. Because we would have had access to Disney like at night or like after hours when no one else is there. Like, who cares about you? I mean,
who cares
clearly,
about
I'm
the
not
Jordan 1s? Sorry, sneakerheads. Who cares about the Jordan 1s?
But I say that to say, like, it really is about prioritizing what is important to you, and that's something that we constantly remind our clients about when they are struggling to reduce their variable spending. And I say, okay, well, let's reevaluate. So what were the goals that you set for yourself? You said you wanted to be able to travel. You said you wanted to get rid of this debt. You said you wanted to be able to save up to get a dog. Okay, well, are those things, did you change your mind on those things? Okay.
Wow, Becca.
No. Do you want to push back when you get those things? No. Okay, well then, was that brunch as worth it as you felt like it could be? No? Okay, well then next quarter, what we're gonna do is we're not gonna cut out brunch entirely, but maybe it's just once a month. And that's what like the bullet journaling helps with that, because you're setting up your calendar for the month and you're deciding when and where you're gonna be spending your money.
Y'all, she is really calling out everybody in 2020. I got called out. She just called me out myself, y'all. That is.
And I didn't even know.
Whoa. I am financially naked right now, you all. Lord. Well, Becca, tell us where we can find you. Tell us, and I'll have all that information too. Y'all, Becca is awesome. The energy is real. I'm into it. So please let them know how we could access you, how we could find you. We all want to get our money right.
So our DC office is located at 1808 I Street on the third floor. I, as in the body part, as in I myself. I don't know, whatever.
That's Northwest, y'all.
Street. Yeah, Northwest. We're right next to GW. We're right across from Farragut West Metro Station. And then, so we have events here every Wednesday, our Wine and Learns. The timing, we're trying to figure out like what our DC folks are feeling like, but it's going to be anywhere from like 5:30 to 8 o'clock, depending. Just check out the events on the website. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we do have Financial Literacy Month that we're celebrating in the month of April. We are having an event every single weeknight that month with a different topic, so you can check out what the agenda is on the website. We're also having a bus tour, our very first bus tour. It's a bus that is going, it is a bus that is going across the country, hitting all of our money tribes. So the money tribes are the different areas where we have a high concentration of clients or interested parties. So they're starting out in Seattle and they'll make their way all the way to New York across the month of April.
That sounds so fun.
Yes. And then just as an FYI, in case anyone is not a native DC person that's listening to your podcast, we have the New York location, the LA location, the Brooklyn location, and the DC location that will all be having the same events every night of the month.
Y'all hear that? Y'all, I'm excited. Yes. Oh my gosh. So you all please come and see Miss Beca Soto of the Financial Gym Level 2. That's all of us, y'all. We all the Level 2 life. Come through, see her. She's going to tell you like it is, but in a very nice way. Clearly. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much.